Has NASA been hiding something? From bizarre rock formations on the Red Planet that some believe hint at alien civilizations, to the strange Black Knight satellite that's been orbiting Earth for thousands of years. NASA's track record with unexplained phenomena raises a lot of questions. When it comes to UFOs, the space agency's we don't know approach leaves us wondering, are they really in the dark, or is there more they're not telling us? These are NASA's most disturbing secrets about alien life. Mars is one of those planets that just won't stop teasing us. Between all the rover missions and satellite images, NASA's gotten a ton of data about the Red Planet, and yeah, some of it's pretty bizarre. Over the years, there have been some oddities people have pointed out, and some of them have even led to conspiracy theories about NASA possibly trying to cover stuff up. People have pointed out odd rock formations that kinda look like pyramids, or maybe even the ruins of a full-on city. If you ask NASA, these are just natural geological formations, but some think the space agency is just downplaying it all. So what if NASA really did find evidence of past alien civilizations on Mars? Why would they keep something like that a secret? Well, some think they're covering it up to keep control over the situation, to prevent mass hysteria. Could Mars be home to some kind of extraterrestrial life? Possibly even intelligent life? Hidden away in some secret location that's never been shown? We might just be scratching the surface with all those photos. Maybe there's more to the story that NASA's not letting on. This one's really weird. So the Black Knight satellite is an alleged alien spacecraft that's been orbiting Earth for thousands of years. Some people believe NASA knows exactly what it is, but has kept quiet about it. The conspiracy really took off in 1954, when Donald Kehoe, an American Marine Corps naval aviator, told the paper that the US Air Force had reported that 2 satellites orbiting Earth had been detected. At that time, no country had the technology to launch a satellite. But the Black Knight satellite story never went away, and it became a full-on alien cover-up conspiracy. The object is described as this artificial satellite, possibly of extraterrestrial origin, flying in orbit observing us. NASA has denied all knowledge of it, but some people point to radio signals picked up by satellites and astronauts' accounts of strange unidentified objects in space as proof that the Black Knight satellite is real. If there really is something floating around up there though, it could mean we've been under alien surveillance for a very long time, possibly tens of thousands of years. NASA's relationship with the UFOs is kind of this awkward, unspoken thing. For years, astronauts and scientists have reported seeing unexplained objects while in space. Some UFOs even make an appearance in official records, like when Apollo 11 astronauts reported seeing a flying saucer during their mission to the moon. NASA has always maintained a pretty grounded scientific approach when it comes to UFOs, saying things like we don't know what they could be, but we're studying them. They never provide any solid answers though, and maybe they just really don't have any, but that's not what some people think, including some who have been to space themselves. Astronauts like Edgar Mitchell, for example, the 6th person to ever set foot on the moon. Up until his death in 2016, he was pretty vocal about his belief that UFOs and aliens were real, and that NASA knew much more than they were letting on. So what is the deal here? Are they keeping secrets about extraterrestrial visits? Do they actually not have any idea what they could be, despite all the eyes they have on the sky? What do you think? Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, is a real hotspot when it comes to the possibility of alien life. NASA spent a lot of time talking about Europa because there's something under that icy surface, an ocean that could possibly be home to life. It's an exciting idea, but as of right now, we don't really know what's down there. Or do we? Some researchers believe NASA knows much more than they've let on. Europa's ocean is considered one of the most promising places to find life beyond Earth, so why is NASA so quiet about it? Could it be they've already discovered something under the ice? Some conspiracy theorists think NASA has already found signs of alien life in Europa's oceans, but they're keeping it under wraps. The whole situation is a bit fishy to some, especially with all the secrecy and the fact that missions to Europa keep getting delayed or altered. Could NASA be sitting on a major discovery, just waiting for the right moment to drop it? In 2017, the Pentagon confirmed it had been running a secret UFO program known as AATIP, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. The revelation caught a lot of people off guard, but NASA was likely involved, at least behind the scenes. AATIP's goal was to investigate unidentified flying objects and other unusual aerial phenomena, and some believe NASA was consulted about these findings. So what do they know? Well, NASA's remained pretty tight-lipped about their role, which has only added to people's suspicions that they're hiding more than just a few UFO reports. If the government was running a secret program to investigate UFOs, it's hard to believe NASA wasn't involved in some capacity. Did they find something in those programs that could change our entire understanding of alien life? Kepler, NASA's exoplanet hunting telescope, got a lot of people talking when it discovered thousands of potential planets outside our solar system. But that's not all. Some scientists believe Kepler has picked up signals that could be coming from extraterrestrial civilizations. If this is the case, well, the question is, are they coming from aliens intentionally trying to communicate? Well, who knows? NASA has downplayed these things, labeling the signals as noise or interference from natural sources, but others aren't convinced. They think NASA's purposely brushing aside these signals to keep the truth about alien life hidden from the public. Maybe they just don't want us to know that we're not alone in the universe just yet, still trying to figure out how to approach the situation. Even though they're the only people to ever go to space, astronauts are kind of the last people you expect to say they've had encounters with UFOs. I don't know what it is, but there is a surprising number of reports from space missions that do suggest otherwise. Gordon Cooper, one of NASA's original astronauts, claimed to have seen a UFO during the Mercury Atlas 9 mission in 1963. He reported a glowing object that seemed to follow his spacecraft before quickly disappearing. Cooper said the craft defied our understanding of physics, that it was far beyond the capabilities of any known technology at the time. He also said there was footage of this thing that was never made public. Then there's the Apollo 14 astronaut Edgar Mitchell, who's also publicly stated that extraterrestrials are real. Mitchell even went as far as to claim that the US government has knowledge of extraterrestrial life and has covered up its existence for decades. The most famous case comes from Apollo 11, with Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin allegedly seeing unidentified objects on the moon. There are rumors that Armstrong's comment during radio transmission about, quote, seeing something out there was a reference to an encounter with a UFO, though it was quickly brushed aside. So why would NASA, who are supposed to be the first to embrace and study new discoveries, suppress such groundbreaking encounters? If astronauts keep encountering UFOs in space, what are they really hiding from us? The Smithsonian Institution is one of the largest museums in the world, housing over 154 million objects. Among these, some argue, are alien artifacts, items that have been hidden away from the public eye. These artifacts are said to be kept in secret vaults, guarded by some of the most powerful institutions in the world, including NASA and the US government. The theory is that alien technology, or possibly even full-on remains of aliens, are housed here. One famous example comes from the 70s Viking missions to Mars, where some insiders claim that NASA found evidence of alien structures. According to these claims, fragments of alien technology were retrieved and then stored in places like the Smithsonian to be studied, but have never been made available to the public, of course. Now, some say the government is hiding this data to avoid panic or to maintain control over such groundbreaking information. Along with these space-related artifacts, there are other theories about strange objects found on Earth. We may never know the full truth, but the Smithsonian's massive, inaccessible archives certainly make it seem like there could be more to the story. The Apollo 20 mission is one of the most controversial and debated conspiracies surrounding NASA. Officially, Apollo 17 in 1972 was the last manned mission to the moon, but for decades there's been this rumor that there was a secret mission launched in the mid-70s to retrieve alien technology from the moon, Apollo 20. According to the story, NASA discovered this massive, ancient spacecraft on the lunar surface in the Bay of Rainbows region, and the Apollo 20 crew was tasked with exploring it. The crew reportedly found two humanoid bodies inside the ship, one alive, the other deceased, along with advanced technology that was far beyond what humanity had at the time. or even now. A man named William Rutledge, who claims to have been part of the crew, gave some pretty detailed accounts of the mission and even shared alleged video footage of the lunar craft and one of the alien bodies inside it. NASA consistently denied any such mission took place though. But the Apollo 20 theory has a loyal following. Some argue that the mission was kept secret because the discovery was part of a larger program to study extraterrestrial technology. For what purpose? Who knows? One of the most bizarre and frustrating mysteries surrounding NASA's Apollo missions is the alleged lost tapes. These are the original analog recordings of the lunar landings, including the famous Apollo 11 mission, which are said to have been erased or taped over at some point in the 80s. You're probably thinking, well, how on earth could they throw away something so historically important? Well, NASA claims it was just for practical reasons. Those tapes were expensive, they were reused for other purposes, but some conspiracy theorists believe the real reason behind the lost tapes is far more sinister. The tapes contained pristine, high-resolution recordings of the Apollo missions, including the first steps on the moon. If they still existed, they would have been priceless artifacts of human history. Instead, only lower quality copies remain, and NASA's explanation for erasing them has definitely raised more questions than answers. Was there something else on those tapes? Maybe. There have always been whispers that something was filmed during the Apollo 11 mission, something NASA didn't want the public to see. But if the tapes were really lost by accident, why did it take so long for NASA to give a clear explanation of what happened? With all that said, I've been your host James, and I'll catch you, yes you specifically, in the next video.